What's up guys, and welcome back to another video. In this one, I'd like to talk about the new EvoPEX fittings from Sharkbite and also compare them to the universal fittings that are very well known. I made a video on these fittings not too long ago, so if you want to get better familiarized with them, here's the card to this video. So what is EvoPEX? EvoPEX is basically years of feedback from plumbing contractors that installed the brass Sharkbite fittings put into one improved fitting that allows for better install time, more assurance when making the actual connections, and more good stuff. I'll also include a few things I dislike about them, so without further ado, let's jump right into it. A lot of feedback that Sharkbite got throughout the years was the fact that installers needed to mark the pipe to know it was inserted all the way. Now, this step was time consuming and required a tool to do so, called the deburr and depth gauge tool. This gadget would allow the installer to insert the pipe in the correct size hole and mark the correct depth at which the fitting needed to be inserted. With the new EvoPEX fittings, this and two other problems were crossed out by introducing this right here called the protection ring. This green ring lets the installer and foreman know that the pipe was fully inserted, making the install much quicker and a lot more reassuring. The other issue that the protection ring addresses is the fact that the O-ring wasn't protected on the brass version. As we could see here, the O-ring is exposed to dust and debris. On the EvoPEX, however, the protection ring covers the sealing element up until the pipe is inserted, assuring that nothing gets between it and the pipe. And lastly, it addresses the deburring step that the brass fittings needed. The Evos do not require the pipe to be deburred thanks to this protection ring's design. It has an angle at the back of it that comes in contact with the O-ring as it's being pushed in, and compresses it just enough so it doesn't come in contact with the square edge on the pipe, which is pretty neat in my opinion. Something else that Sharkbite decided to improve is how they seal. The brass fittings would seal at the exterior of the pipe, which would accommodate different types of pipes. However, EvoPEX seals on the inside. Here's why. The reason why Sharkbite decided to do this is that if the exterior of the pipe got a bit scuffed or scratched from being mishandled, which isn't uncommon, the seal wouldn't be compromised like the brass fittings would. This was a big concern to Sharkbite, so they brought the fitting back to the drawing board and made some adjustments. This improvement does, however, limit the types of pipes it could work on. So if you do a lot of transitioning, this system is not for you as it only works on PEX. Theft was also a problem. This was fixed by only making them work on PEX, as copper piping has a higher tendency of getting stolen. So EvoPEX removes all possibilities of having copper on the job site. Something they both still have that's really appreciated is the fact that they could be rotated after they've been set. This could be overlooked by some, but it's actually a really practical feature to have if you need to make any modifications. Onto the dislikes. The first thing that I don't like about the Evos is that they're a bit harder to insert. Here I did a test where we could roughly see how many pounds it takes to fully set the pipe. For the brass fitting, it took around 39 pounds, and the Evo a tad more at 55 pounds. So in tight situations or on big jobs, fatigue might become an issue. Something else worth mentioning is flow. Now, for those who don't know, less flow equals less water to each fixture. So if you flush a toilet while someone's taking a shower, for example, you'll notice less water coming out the shower head. Here's a comparison between both half-inch Sharkbites and a half-inch sweat coupling. The difference is quite noticeable. And lastly is the fact that the Evos are permanent. This is a good for a bad type of thing where it's reassuring that they won't come off, but in exchange, if you make a mistake, you gotta cut and restart. But like any system, the contractor needs to weigh things out and choose what's best for his applications. And that's a comparison between both of them. What are your thoughts on the new EvoPEX fittings? Would you use them in a concealed wall, buried underground? I want to know how you would use them and if you'd be comfortable doing so. Personally, do I trust EvoPEX more than the universal brass fittings? Yes, I do. The fact that you get a visual confirmation that it's in all the way and that it won't leak is reassuring to both the installer and the foreman before the walls get closed up. And the fact that they're permanent and can't back out reassures me a lot. I think Sharkbite is doing an awesome job at making their products better and addressing the stigma that the brass fittings may have. Believe it or not, after making this review, I'm starting to want to use them as I can't really find any serious enough reason not to. And that's it. If you guys liked this video and learned something from it, please hit the thumbs up button and share it. And until the next video, thanks for watching.